This podcast is dedicated to the memory of Harley Race.
In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world.
Damn, this shit got me so high, I'm about to fall
You will
asleep.
be launching the largest aerial battle
Hey,
in the history of
man,
mankind.
pass that shit over here, man. This beat sucks. What the hell we doing here anyways? Why they got us all up for this
Mankind,
shit?
that
Oh,
word should have new
man, that
meaning for
Peezy
all
shit
of
that
us
happened
today.
last time.
We
coming
can't
back.
be consumed by
Now
our
it's our
petty
turn.
differences anymore.
Man, I'm not trying to do that
We will
shit
be
again,
united
man.
in our
Trying to go
common
my ass
interest.
back home. I
Perhaps
smoked my weed, man. That shit was crazy
today
last
is-
time.
Yo,
Fourth
pass
of
that
July.
shit, pass that shit.
My bad,
And
dude.
you
My bad.
will
Here you
once
go.
again be fighting for our freedom.
Yo, what the fuck is this
Not from
motherfucker even
tyranny,
saying?
oppression, or
I'm
persecution,
really not even listening, to be honest with you, dude.
but from
Pass that shit over
annihilation.
here, yo. Don't be too loud. I don't want no one to find out that we're over
fighting
here.
for our right to live,
Shut up, man. Come on.
to exist.
Stop that.
And should we win the day,
Pretty good weed, man.
the 4th of July will no longer
Hell
be known
yeah,
as
don't
an
get much
American
better than
holiday.
this.
You ready to fucking
But
take
as
out
the
this
day when
Peezy,
the
yo? I'm about
world
to do this
declared
shit.
in
Yo,
one
the
voice, we
motherfuckers
will
last
not
time
go
were crazy.
quietly into the night.
Yo, this dude's
We
getting
will
into
not
it, man.
vanish
Look at
without
him
a
go.
fight.
Yo, I don't blame him, yo.
We're
That
going to
Peezy
live
shit was
on.
crazy.
We're going to survive. Today,
Loud, man.
we celebrate our Independence Day.
Oh, independent. Listen to this motherfucker.
Yo, Jay, look over this guy, man.
Oh, shit. Yo, it's about to go down right now.
Oh, man, dude, those Peezys again, man. They're back, man.
That's what we thought. We had him. Get him, get him.
I got it.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah, man, we gotta look for him. Keep getting it. We got it.
Yo, stuck.
There's none.
Get out the way.
Oh, shit, man, I got the cats.
Yo, they're coming everywhere.
This Peezy shit for real, man.
Oh, shit. Oh, yo, we gotta start running, yo.
Yo, I got-
Yo, where are yo, there he is.
Yeah, man, this fucking laser duck.
Oh, yo, I don't know what to do, yo. We gotta go.
We're gonna run and look around. There's Peezys everywhere.
Yo, we're done, yo. We're done.
Get him.
Yo, I can't do anything, yo. They're everywhere.
Dude, I don't know what we're gonna do, man. There's nowhere to go.
Oh, shit. Back up.
Initialize final blast. It's Peezy, bitch.
Initialize final blast. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're tuned in to another episode of To Be Blunt with Peezy.
That's right. We're back to 2B Blood Podcast. The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. And we are live and in studio today. We have the Scott.
What's up, everybody? The Scott's in the house.
We got Frank Knox.
I'm here and I'm live.
And your host, none other than the Get High rapper, Peezy. And we are live. Here we are, episode 6, guys.
Yeah, here it is, 6 weeks strong in the 2B Blunt podcast.
We got to
They said we wouldn't last past 2, I heard.
Really? Who said that?
Well, fuck them, motherfucker.
Yeah, fuck that shit, Scott. God damn, you come in here, you're already talking shit. This guy.
We don't accept negative attitudes at the 2B Blunt podcast, so you better, change it up quick
It wasn't
or
for
hit the
me,
door.
guys. It wasn't for me.
Jesus. Anyways, we got a big show today, guys. We got a lot of news to talk about. We got Raw and SmackDown. We had big shows this week, great shows on both ends. And we got a big interview with Mark Haggerty live on the phone. He's going to be calling in later on in the show, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be huge.
Great.
This guy went from West Coast pot grower to East Coast wrestling ring announcer. One of the best that I have yet to hear.
I consider him the best in the business. I mean, this guy is a worker. He'll travel anywhere, everywhere, and in between.
I agree. So, before we get started, there's only one way to start these podcasts, and that's the way I like it, with the ceremonial lighting of the blunt. And I know Scott's not that big of a smoker, but we still like him here in studio. But me and Frank, though, we're the true smokers. Frank's sporting the new 2B Blunt Podcast t-shirts.
That's right.
You guys don't even know. Wait till we unveil these things. They're sick. They're sick. Before I get any further, though, let's not waste any time. So I ask you both, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I said, are you ready?
I'm fucking ready, Peezy. Let's do it.
Then, for the three of us in this podcast studio and the hundreds listening at home, let's get ready to smoke it! Yeah!
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Smoke it! Oh, boy, baby. It's going to be a big show. We're smoking on the finest weed. I'm lighting this fat kid palm up right now. My God. Let's take that first hit.
The first hit is always the best hit, in my opinion.
That's right. Break it down.
Break it down, roll it up.
So, and I'm sure everyone's wondering what we're smoking on here in, our podcast To Be Blunted universe,
What are we smoking on today, Peezy?
Well, today we have a custom strain, Frank, from Pheno Angler Garden up in Maine. This is Charlotte's Veil, or as I like to call it, Charlotte's Flare, because it makes you go, woo, when you hit it. Woo! What do you say, Scott? Woo! Woo!
I'll tell you, it does smell pretty damn good.
Nice, man. So what are the genetics of this Charlotte's Veil, a.k.a. Charlotte Flare?
A.k.a.?
No,
A.k.a.?
No?
The genetic... Oh, shit. Here you go. Frank Knox. The genetics for this blunt is a white widow crossed with purple vapor. Now, I'll tell you right now, this guy only puts out the finest. I mean, he grows these things, and it just blows my mind when I see the pictures of what this guy's got for a setup. Pheno's one of my boys. He always hooks up the 2B Blunt podcast of weed. We've smoked the GMO, and that was...
That purple drank breath was unbelievable.
Oh, that's right. The purple drank breath. Yeah, man. I mean, this guy's always got the craziest shit. So this week, he's hooking us up with Charlotte's Veil. But for this episode, we're going to call it Charlotte's Flare. Woo! That's right, baby. And, yeah, man, this is exactly what I needed. It's been a long fucking week. I've been stressed the fuck out. Work's been fucking killing me. Riding my goddamn back like I'm the camel in the desert. So tell me, I don't know about you guys, but I'll tell you what, it's been hot all fucking week. It's like we got the heat wave back again, Frank.
Yeah, it's been very warm all week. Thankfully, I have air conditioning. I've been pretty much just staying in, smoking a lot of pot, and watching wrestling,
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the best part about the weekend, I know this weekend I didn't really do too much, which was nice. Still doing a whole bunch of planning for the wedding, Woo! We're getting there. Don't forget, we got the bachelor party episode coming soon. So that's going to be a fire. And so there was a lot of that. I didn't really do anything substantial this weekend, I felt like. What about you, Frank? What'd you do this weekend?
Man, I pretty much just geared up for the podcast, but on Sunday, I went to the casino and checked out the Americarana show.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was supposed to go to the show, but I decided to sit my ass home and work on our podcast studio being built exclusively. You'll see but we're going to go YouTube live eventually, and it's not coming yet, but just a heads up, we're building a studio right here at the 2B Blood Studio, but for live video, you know what I mean? And it's going to be huge. But in light of that, I realized after I talked to you, Frank, by the end of the night, that I had made a huge fucking mistake. A huge fucking mistake by missing out on Beyond Wrestling's Americanrana, or whatever they called it.
Well, Peezy, I would usually say you made a big mistake, but this time around, you actually made the smart decision.
Wait, you mean to tell me that I made the right call by staying home instead of going to the show at Foxwoods? At the casino where I could have been throwing dice and playing cards and putting pennies in slots, goddammit?
Well, everything was good until after the show, I would say. The
After the
show
show.
was good. You know,
Let's talk about the show.
Let's talk about the show.
I want to hear
first.
about the show because I wasn't there. So I want to get the rundown. I know you and Scott went together.
Yeah, I went with the Scott, the only Scott.
So
And we showed up to the show, and it had just started. LAX just finished battling whom? Scott, was it Bear Country?
You're going to ask me to remember anything from Sunday.
All right,
and
so-
I'm not going to be able to
boy.
do that.
All right. So, yeah, LAX they had their match. So the Scott was like, hey, I want to go gamble. He had the itch. And the Scott was hot.
Scott was hot.
The Scott was hot.
You were out on the tables. Where'd you play, Scott?
The Scott was
we
hot.
were-
He was at the blackjack table. The Scott was hot. He was probably up over $1,000,
Come on.
He's nearby.
give or take.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
So
Before I give it back.
we finally decide to go back in, and keep in mind that when the Scott's playing at the tables, and anyone's playing at the tables, drinks are free. So at this point, we probably had like 6, 7 Jameson gingers.
The Scott was hot.
So we decide to go back in. All right, the Scott's hot. He's up 1,000. It's time to go back in. But unfortunately, we went in when intermission was happening. So we went in and we came right back out. So the sad thing about it is during the show, we probably only watched, 3 to 4 matches?
Yeah, I mean, we probably missed a good
We
portion
missed
of the show.
70% of the show because we were out at the tables getting
Come
lit.
on. You missed that
The
much of the
Scott
show?
was hot. I watched the Janela David Starr 60-minute Iron Man match, and that was fire from minute 1 to minute 6.
Dude, I'm a big David Starr fan. I was kind of upset that I missed that. I didn't even know it was going to be an Iron Man match.
Dude, it was probably the match of the year.
Come on.
Like, if you love wrestling, and I know you love wrestling, and I know you love
obviously,
wrestling,
yeah.
but apparently Scott didn't love wrestling that night because about 6 minutes into the show, he's like, fuck, I'm going to go back out to get another drink. Next thing you know,
Oh, no.
And
The
that was my
match is
mistake.
over. The
if I
match
could
is
go
over.
back,
Now, this is the Iron
I
Man
would have
match.
sat my
the
seat
main event.
This is the
for all
main
6
event.
hours.
The main event. And the Scott comes, he's nowhere to be found the whole match. And,
What?
he comes out back at the end of the match, maybe 60 seconds left.
Oh, God.
It was close to
And
the end. I
he-
felt like I couldn't sit down for an
I was
hour.
like, where you been? He's, I'm gambling. He's gambling. He's losing his money that he already won. Now he's giving it all back. Janela wins, like 4 seconds left to spare. I think it was like 6-5 or
5-4 maybe.
5-4.
Wow, a
That
lot
might
of,
be
lot
one
of
thing I
falls in
remember.
there, huh?
A lot of falls. Yeah, great match. Many great spots. So anyways, let me fast forward. We're leaving. We see Johnny Impact. Really
Oh,
cool
wow.
dude. Shout out to Johnny Impact. Really great dude. We chatted it up with him for maybe like 10 minutes. Took some pictures with him.
Oh, that was cool.
Johnny Foxwoods on Sunday.
Yep. And now, keep in mind, we've been at the casino 6 hours, and like you said, we're huge smokers. So when we left, I was like, Scott, I need to go to the car. I need to smoke. I don't give a fuck. If I'm staying here for the after party at Shrine.
There was an after party at Shrine.
Yeah, so we went back to the car, smoked.
So
went
this
back
is
to
where the problem
after party.
started.
After party shrine and no cover.
No cover, no dress code.
They even no dress code. Frank Knox was let in with shorts.
And Popeye socks.
And
But anyways-
you had Popeye socks?
Yeah, I had my Popeye socks on that
Oh,
day.
my God.
Chewing that spinach, smoking that grass.
Oh, my God. That's so great.
So let me fast forward. You were in the club. Next thing you know, Scott orders 1 drink, 2 drinks.
Hold on. Before you go further. So the Scots had a nightclub.
Yep, with Frank Knox.
The Scott
Yep.
is at the nightclub.
And all the wrestlers are going to be appearing there later.
So the wrestlers are going to be at the club.
And the Scott is there.
And the Scott's there.
And-
Let me tell you, I know when Scott gets real turnt that this guy, he just starts like blowing cash left and right. I remember one time we were at a show in Bristol and Moonshine was there with us and Hippie Dicky Moon. And we ended up going to the bar across the street. They had karaoke. And Scott's out here fucking buying the bar. Green tea shots for everybody.
I'm
Green
probably
tea? Wait. Green tea shots?
Green tea. And how was
yeah.
this go to? Everybody was drinking green tea shots.
Listen,
He
if
had
you-
the
So
whole bar.
this is where the night got ugly, Peezy.
Oh, tell me
For
more.
those of you out there that have never had a green tea shot, I advise you to have one. Just one.
All right, Scott.
What is the
you
green
know-
tea,
one.
Scott? Tell us what's in the green tea shot.
Everyone's
If
had
I
a
can
green tea.
remember,
It's like Jameson and
peach schnapps, and I think
Yeah.
a splash of Sprite or something in there.
Scott's over here like,
They're
yo, man,
delicious.
you ever have a green tea?
They're
I'm like,
too
yeah.
delicious.
I was like, yeah, man, I've had a green tea. He's like, nah, you never had a green tea. I'm the Scott. I invented the green tea, bro. And I'm like, So he orders green tea shots. Like, I've never had one before. I'm like, cool, man, we ripped green tea shot. But I'm more of a just straight up Jameson guy because my balls dropped 10 years ago.
Yo, my God.
So, all right, so we have a green tea shots, just me and Scott.
Yep.
Now, the first workers that come in are Anthony Green and Josh Briggs with the Honeys.
Come on.
And earlier that night, the Scott confirmed he sold Anthony Green a Val Venus shoot DVD at a wrestling convention about 12 years ago.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
10 years ago, and he did confirm it with me. I was a little bit suspicious. I said, Anthony Green, are you the guy I sold a Val Venus shoot interview DVD to at a convention 10 years ago, a hop, skip, and a jump away from where we are in the studio right now over in Cromwell, Connecticut? And he did confirm that with me.
The Scott
and that
sold
was the
them
last
2
thing
for
I remember
20.
that night.
2 for 20. That DVD and the NEW.
I believe so.
Dude,
Yeah. I didn't even remember that. He did. He would have stumped me that night if he would have asked me what the other DVD
So
was.
anyways, they walk in. Scott's like, we got to buy him shots. All right.
Yes,
Joey
keep
Janela
going.
walks in. We got to buy him shots.
Oh,
Marco
God, of course.
Stunt walks in. We got to buy him
Marco
shots.
Fuck Marco Stunt. I don't think I ever.
From
Well, who even
AEW.
let him in the bar? He doesn't even look like he's old enough to drink.
LAX comes in the bar. I got to buy him shots. Now, keep in mind, there were some honeys there that weren't with Anthony Green. We bought them shots. So, by the end of the night, I think Scott, at one point, bought 6 shots just for Joey Janela alone.
Shut the fuck up.
See, now I don't remember any of this. So
And then,
So wait, this is at this point, Scott is
you're stumping me
blacked
right
out.
now.
Scott's getting stumped right here, live. It's his second time on air. He's already stumped.
Scott was like, hey, Frank, you want to hit the dance floor? And I'm looking at Scott like, you sure? He's like, yeah, man, we're in the dance floor. We're getting funky. And Scott was too fucked up. He ran to the corner, ordered more shots by himself. So next thing you know, I'm outside smoking. I'm outside smoking.
He's smoking.
Yeah. I come back in, the security guards with the Scott. All right, now this is where it gets fucked up. Because within 6 minutes of me going outside to smoke, the Scott, I came back to his eyes rolling in the back of his fucking head.
What?
Oh, really?
Like the Undertaker?
And begging for water, getting dragged through the back kitchen
What?
of Shrine because they don't want him going out the main entry for bad pubs.
Oh, man. You couldn't even walk out of there, Scott. You had an eye roll in the back of your head, and the last thing you were dead man walking. You were dead man getting dragged out.
So
I can't confirm or deny any of this, but, I guess we got to go with Frank's word on here because I don't recall any of this.
You don't remember any of this?
Nope.
Just confirming right now.
I really don't. I really
You
don't
were
remember any of this.
absolutely 100% there, but not there.
The last thing I remember was ordering shots and seeing Joey Janela there, and that's the last thing I remember.
You don't remember buying it, do 6 shots in a row?
Not really.
Oh, man. So Scott's getting dragged through the kitchen.
he's getting dragged through the kitchen. I see him. I'm a good friend. I'm like, boom, dash over, put his arm around me, tell the bouncer, like, man, this is my boy. I got
How'd they
him.
let you in the kitchen?
No, this was still while I was at the corner of the bar getting
I got
confronted.
you.
I walked through the kitchen with the bouncer and him.
All right.
And then we went outside to the club, to the casino floor. I bought him a water, and I was like, all right, man, let's go. So we started proceeding
I don't think I
back.
ever got to say thank you for buying me a water.
We started proceeding back to the casino, which, if you're sober, is what, like a 7-10 minute walk as it is?
That was probably like an hour for you, I bet.
Yeah. So we're walking up,
Time stood
and all of a
still for
sudden,
me.
Scott's throwing chairs.
Wait. What do you mean he's throwing chairs? What chairs?
He's picking up chairs that are, alongside the hall that leads from casino to casino that you could sit in, eat, chill, whatever you want to do. He's picking them up and throwing them. Next thing you know, he's giving forearm shots to the beams.
That's
as
why
he
my
walks by.
elbows hurt.
Yeah.
That's totally why my elbows hurt.
And then this, and then Peezy.
He's throwing forearm shots. Yeah.
And then this is when it gets good. Because now he's starting to throw, and I'm like, Scott, what are you doing? Now he's throwing chairs and these same elbow shots, but after throwing them, he's like, fuck you, Marco Scott. Fuck you, Joey Janela. Fuck you, Flip Gordon.
Was Flip Gordon even there? He wasn't
even there.
Oh my God! Even the dogs think it's funny. Holy shit!
So I dragged Scott through the casino. It took about an hour. We get to my car. We're driving back to the hotel. He starts puking on himself. Pukes in my car. Real amateur hour over here, you know?
Well, of
And then
course.
he gets on the
Typical
phone,
Scott.
Edit part of this out.
And then
Oh
he-
no, we're live, pal, aren't we?
Yeah. And then we're going back to the hotel, and he doesn't know a room number.
No,
you know?
no.
It was in my back pocket.
And then
though.
I
You should've known that.
had dragged the wallet out of his back pocket, but as soon as I dragged it, the Scott ran. And he
What do
ran
you mean
quick.
he ran?
He ran quick.
Where?
No idea. I picked up the wallet. Next thing you know, he was gone. So I went to the hotel desk and I was like, I need help. My friend's annihilated.
No
puking
shit.
on himself.
You went for help. He had to call for Mayday, Scott.
And they were like, "Oh, this happens all the time, sir. Let me call
All the time. I feel not
security."
alone.
They treated it like it was an everyday occurrence.
They made it seem like it would happen at least 3 times today, minimum.
Oh my God, bro.
So they have security coming. I'm sitting there at the desk, all lit, high, drunk, chilling, talking to the 2 people there, laughing about it. And all of a sudden, I hear boom, and I'm like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" I was like, "Oh, that's definitely Scott." So I heard where the noise came from, and it was outside because I saw the window.
Yeah.
So I run out there. I was like, "Hold on, I think that was my friend Scott." I heard a thump
Outside the building.
outside the building. I run outside to the courtyard. Scott's laying there in the bush. Ugh, fuck Marco Scott. Ugh, fuck Joey Janela. Fuck Flip Gordon.
This is the best story.
If you heard a thump, that means I was just doing a tribute to Junkyard Dog. It had nothing
Before
to
we
do
go
with
further,
being blacked out.
this is not the opinions of the 2B Blood podcast.
No,
but the Scott
yeah.
doesn't like none of y'all.
Those guys were all cool. I guess Scott blamed them for getting drunk.
Listen, when you're saying when
subconsciously.
you're drunk, it's when you tell the truth. Scott doesn't like Marco Scott. Scott hates Joey Janela. And fuck Flip Gordon.
Well, what's Flip Gordon have to do with it?
I have no idea.
What's your beef with
But
him?
you know what? I don't know.
Yo, what is your beef with this guy?
I don't know. I don't know what my beef is with Flip Gordon. I don't know. But that night, I just...
So
Didn't
at
have
this
it.
point, I was planning on driving home, but because I had to babysit Scott, it took about 2 hours, and it was like 2 a.m. by the time we finally got to the room. He went into the bathroom, he was puking, and he was still convulsing about Joey Janela.
No,
well,
he's throwing up.
Flip Gordon, and I wake
Dude.
up at 5 a.m. and the Scott is sleeping. I'm sleeping. I get up. I go in the bathroom. There's peppers in the sink from eating
Peppers.
Yeah, we had what? Like
I
pork
think it was
chops
actually
and
when I
peppers?
cleaned it out when I woke up at like maybe 2 in the afternoon.
No,
the
they
next
were
day,
chunk of
it
peppers
was,
from
I'm
Scott.
pretty sure it was asparagus, actually.
Asparagus. When we eat asparagus?
And I had like this stupid meal thing that early on in the day, so it had to be from that. I ate a lot of stuff after that, but that's just what I noticed.
Scott,
There.
are you using like those meal things that the wrestlers that are always posting about?
I mean, I am the
Scott. Which one is it? Is it Bailey's?
No, it's Sensible Portions. Look it up. Bully Ray's a big user of it, as well as Velvet Sky, I think, and a couple others there.
Yo,
Matt
he's
Hardy.
such a Scott.
And he's such a Scott, he ended up drunk and convulsing like a Scott all night on the floor.
Bro, do you remember fucking Johnny D's wedding?
Oh, he lost. But he was.
We'll save that. I'll save that for another day.
Yeah, he was lost. We looked for 3 hours and he was in my trunk.
So
We drove around trying to find the Scott. He was drunk and disappeared just like he did to Frank Knox that night, the other night. And we looked for him forever. We're all in a car driving around New York. We don't even know where the fuck we are trying to find the Scott at the end of the wedding. Next thing you know, his head pops up from the trunk. We were in an SUV.
yeah, who's the
Unknown
asshole?
caller.
Hold on,
yeah, I
someone's
hope
calling
it's
in.
Moonshine. If it's Moonshine, I hope he's got a room for me, because I might need one.
I don't,
Yeah,
listen,
you do after this weekend.
we're going to find out who this is.
2B Blunt Podcast.
2B Blood Podcast, what's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Moonshine, Peezy.
Oh, Moonshine. It is Moonshine.
Moonshine.
Moonshine, the Scott needs a room wherever you're staying.
Probably, I think you
I'm
need to get.
getting out soon. I've been listening. We need to trade places, buddy.
You know it's bad when
Absolutely. I'm
Moonshine.
rehabilitated, and we need to trade places, my friend.
Bro,
Oh,
I've been there.
sounds good.
I've been there a couple times.
you know it's
I
bad
woke
when
up with peppers
Moonshine
in my
calls
sink.
in
I know
and
what
call
you're
you
talking
out. Bro, that's
I'm not
terrible.
calling him out. I'm just saying I've been there, buddy, and you know you could still turn your life around.
Listen, Moonshine, I appreciate it. You might be the answer to my prayers right now.
Bro, I don't think prayers are going to do it for you.
No, they don't do nothing. But you know, if you trade places with me, I'm sure we can work something out where you can get sober and you won't make an idiot out of yourself again.
That's right, Scott. Moonshine's getting out. I think this weekend he's going to be down writing for Wrestlers Lab. So that room might be opening up with your name on it, bro. You might have to stay at 8A.
Oh, man.
23-hour lockdown.
Yes, sir. I get to get out at AA tomorrow night. You get one phone call a week. I like to call the 2B Blunt podcast my phone call. That's what I like.
Except for that 1 week.
I might have to use my only phone call then for you guys.
But that's all right. Well, Hippie called me. How to talk to him. It's Hippie. My little buddy.
Speaking of Hippie and you guys are both actually going to be down at Wrestlers Lab this weekend, huh?
Yes, sir. He's got a big 6-man scramble match. I'm not too sure yet what I'm doing, but I'm sure going to be there.
Yeah, we found out that you're not going to be the mystery opponent like I thought last week. It was announced.
No.
That's right, Frank. You didn't predict that.
Yeah, Anthony Gangone's going to be on the scramble.
Anthony Gangone. He's done a drop for our podcast. He was like the first guy that even got back to us ever.
Yeah, he's a great wrestler, too.
I know. We got to get this guy for an interview. Damn.
He's a Moonshine. Right, I see him do that wrestling stuff.
Moonshine, you don't know what you're doing yet for the show at Wrestlers Lab? You're just going down there?
I don't know. I'm just gonna go down there, and I'm sure I believe Haggerty. Ask him later. I think he's running that now. Ask him what I'm doing. They ain't told me nothing yet, but that's all right. Maybe they did. I don't know.
So Moonshine, tell us how's your rehabilitation going?
I am fully rehabilitated, my friend. I'm getting out tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night? Oh, yes, no. Does that mean you're not going to call the podcast anymore?
No, that means we can have him in studio.
Ooh, see, now we're talking. Absolutely. We definitely have to have Moonshine, the only guy who's called consistently 5 out of the 6 weeks, in studio, fresh and sober.
I'll come in, but I'm not going to smoke none of that wacky tobacco that you guys got there.
All right, well, make sure you bring your chips, man, to prove your sobriety when you come into the 2B Blunt podcast.
I will.
And we also cannot guarantee. We can't guarantee that you won't catch contact.
You will definitely catch a contact.
Yeah, if you're coming to this podcast, Moonshine.
Well, that's all right. I as long as I don't actually inhale, I'll be okay.
I got edibles for that one.
Bill Clinton smoked
you eat
weed.
stuff too? I did not know that. See, I'm so out of the loop. All this drinking got me so out of the loop, but that's all right.
Moonshine, you sound great, bro.
Oh, thank you so much, buddy.
This is the most I've ever been able to understand you.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. The heavy Southern accent. I still got an accent, but it's I'm understandable. It's crazy.
It is crazy. You sound great, man. You sound like you're doing great.
I learned how to read. I still can't write too good, but I learned how to read. But I can do that now.
Hey, Moonshine.
Told you that last week.
Moonshine, let's see how sober you are. I got a challenge for you, Moonshine.
Okay. Uh-oh. Okay.
I want to see if you can stump the Scott.
Okay, I could try to do that. Well, if it sounds like if he was at Foxwoods again, he'd be pretty stumped.
I don't know. If you stump me, I'm going to say I'm still recovering from Foxwoods.
There's a cure for a hangover. It's never stop drinking, but you didn't hear that from me, and I hope my God didn't hear me say that.
Your sponsor?
No, I'm on Peezy podcast, Mr. Officer. I don't want to stay here any longer.
Man, I'm excited for you to get out, bro. This is great.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be good. I get to see him. Maybe I get to give him a big old hug. Yeah. I'm so happy.
Are you gonna try to stump the Scott? Yo, we want to test your sobriety here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what do you need me to do?
Ask the Scott a wrestling question. You're a wrestler. You should know a lot about wrestling. Ask the Scott a wrestling question. Anything. Any kind of knowledge, trivia, anything. I want to see if you can stump the Scott, Moonshine. Let's see how well your brain's working these days.
It's working pretty good, but I haven't really been able to watch a lot of wrestling because lockdown. But let me try to think of something. Wrestling question. Let me think. Oh, I got one. What year did that guy that you can't really see that good? What year did he come back when he I think he tore his bicep and came back for the Royal Rumble? He won it. What year was that?
Okay, so we're talking about John Cena, and it was 2008.
Yeah, you can't see him.
It was the 2008 Royal Rumble, and I was actually there for that when he came out as number 30.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
The Scott, undefeated.
Maybe I didn't drink enough this past Sunday.
Wow, look at that. Oh, he's so smart. The alcohol don't affect you.
Ooh, they're gonna love me there, huh?
Oh yeah.
If we switch places, they're gonna love me there, huh?
Oh, you'll fit right in. Everybody's so nice.
Damn, Moonshine! You got to call next week. I want to hear about how this appearance goes. I want to know what you did, what you ended up doing. You know.
Absolutely, I'll give you a call, Peezy. I'll let you know everything. And when Mr. Mark Haggerty calls later, tell him I said hello.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you'll see him Sunday. You'll find out yourself.
Yeah, I will. But I just want I know he's calling in later, so make sure you say hello from me.
All right, we'll do that.
All right, fellas. I will hopefully see you soon, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right,
man.
Moonshine. Take care.
Take care.
Oh, one more thing. Just to let you guys know, Hippie Dicky Moon's going to be Saturday. He's going to be at that Tazerac.
That's right. Hippie Dicky Moon will be at Tazrax for Test of Strength's House Rules this Saturday, 5 p.m.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
At Tazrax in Naugatuck, Connecticut.
And none other than Peezy, a.k.a. Slain Dangerfield, will be commentating.
That's right. I'm going to be doing commentary, baby. Calling it like no one else can. Oh!
Right down the middle.
That's right.
All right, fellas. Well, you have a good night. I'm going to keep listening to this podcast as long as they let me.
All right. Thanks, Moonshine.
All right, fellas. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.
Holy shit. Moonshine McCready.
Moonshine and Scott are going to switch places.
I know. Scott's got to go to fucking rehab after this amazing story. Dude, that was the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
You know? I had plans to go into like a little bit of weed news, but I don't even know like if I want to go that far now. You know? I just feel like nothing is going to be able to overshadow what we just went through. It was amazing, you know? And I just feel like the best thing to do is to rather light up this blunt again and call fucking Don Kincaid.
That sounds a great idea.
You know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
You're with me?
You got our minutes loaded up?
I'm doing it right now, damn it.
All right, let's load them up and give them a call. But make sure we're not paying too much this time.
That's true. Well, you know, Don. Well, I don't know. He gave it to us for like free last week, so.
All right, $2.99 max.
Let's find out. Let's call up Don Kincaid, the Kincaid Hotline.
Ladies and gentlemen, exclusive breaking news brought to you by the Kincaid Hotline. And now, renowned reporter Don Kincaid.
It's Don Kincaid, baby!
Don Kincaid, I got the minutes fired up today. I hope you got some breaking news for me, man.
Well, I'm only charging you $12.99. That's a special, baby.
$12.99?
Well, last week it was only 0.1 cent. I got to make up for that.
Man, I feel like you're like a crook by the book.
Wait, hey, come on, man. Hey, I'm going to jump in with some news because I got some impactors, if I may start with, baby, because, hey, we've got one. Tennille, I always pronounce that wrong. Tennille Dashwood, formerly known as WWE's Emma, has officially signed with Impact and will make her debut in Mexico City in Mexico on August 15th and August 16th, baby. How you like some of that?
Wow, Tennille Dashwood.
Yeah, man. And not only that, there's also been one more signing with a major name. Rhino has just signed a multi-year deal with Impact Wrestling.
Wow, Rhino making the jump, Don, huh? Didn't he come up earlier in the few shows ago when he had the mask on and he speared Brian Cage?
Hey, don't use the M word because he still to this day denies that was him because he may have been under contract with somebody else, so to this day, he denies that was him in a mask.
That's probably a smart move.
Yeah, it is. So, I gotta move on because there is some really cool news coming out of Major League Wrestling, man. On the major heels of a formation of, check this out, Noah out in Japan has come together with Major League Wrestling in a relationship, and there is big news because Alex Hammerstone, he is the National Open Weight Champion in MLW, and he will compete in the N1 Victory 2019 tournament, and he will be the only one that will be representing MLW. Wow. And man, that is going to be huge. I don't know if Hammerstone is ready for a tournament such as big as that N1 victory tournament, man. That's huge.
That's huge. What a partnership. Pro Wrestling Noah and MLW, Don.
The names that are going to be colliding over the course of the next year, Peezy, we've got to keep an eye out on that. And hey, if anybody can bring you that news, that's Kincaid, baby.
That's right. It's got to be you, Don.
All right. Now check this out, man. This is really cool. Teddy Hart. Now, oh, wait, let me start with this. New York City is to host the first Opera Cup in over 70. That's 70 years. Check that out, Peezy.
Oh, my God. 70 years.
Now listen. Teddy Hart has inherited the Opera House Trophy Cup upon the passing of his grandfather. Now, it's inspired by the legends whose names are immortalized in plaques on the sides of the cup. Now, Teddy Hart, has donated the cup to yet again Major League Wrestling to reignite the spirit of the greats who proceed today and tomorrow's greats. Now, after a 71-year hiatus, the Opera Cup returns December 5th as MLW hosts the 2019 Opera Cup Tournament at Melrose Ballroom in New York City, and this will be on Fusion TV, a Fusion TV taping. And man, that means we might be able to get to watch this.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
So we'll see what time tells, because, hey, December's a long way, so I'll keep an eye on that as well, because I would love to watch that live, man.
Oh, me too. That would be huge. 70 years,
All right.
Don.
Dude, it's gigantic. This news this week is huge, and it has nothing to do with stock. It has everything to do with wrestling. Now, check this out. All Elite Wrestling, this is very breaking news within the last couple hours. All Elite Wrestling will crown its very first women's champion as part of their TNT television debut on October 2. And AEW Chief Brand Officer Brandy Rhodes confirms the news, expressing the company's full support for opportunities to succeed for all of its female talent.
Oh, that's big news, man. So on the first show, they're going to crown their first ever women's champion in AEW.
That is going to be amazing. I will be tuning in, and that's on a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Is Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't know.
think it's Wednesday.
Either way, I'll be watching, baby. All right, now I am charging you $12.99, so let me finish this off. So your bill is only under $70. Okay.
Oh, gee,
All
what
right.
a guy.
Hey, that's what I do. Beyond Wrestling was amazing. Beyond Wrestling Americana 2019 at Foxwoods. I got the pleasure and the honor of being in the crowd for that event.
I remember, didn't you run into a couple of my podcast partners, Stump the Sky and Frank Knox?
I met the Scott, dude. That's the first time I ever met him. And not only that, did Mr. Frank Knox send you a picture of a couple middle fingers by chance?
Oh, yeah, I sure did, Don. Real nice guy.
Hey, we were showing you some love, Peezy. What's up, kid? Yeah, baby.
Nice.
Oh, so anyways, at that event, there was a major announcement. Not only, okay, let me start with this one. Beyond Wrestling, the owner, and I always forget his name. I don't know why, because he's such a cool dude. But the owner of Beyond Wrestling made a major announcement and says that they will be hosting a facility. They will be residing in a home base in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and it's going to be at 172 Exchange Street, and it's going to be a full-blown experience, baby. There's going to be concessions. There's going to be shows that are happening. We might be able to see uncharted territory there. Wow. So who knows what the future is going to bring for this new facility that Beyond is going to give us, the fans.
That's huge.
Not only that, check this out, Peezy. Oh, God. At the same time,
you're right, Don.
Dude, I'm all right. I only got one more little tidbit, and I'm good. All right. Now, in the same token, he says that after 18 weeks of amazing wrestling, amazing names that have come in and out of the Uncharted Territory label, being on Wednesday evenings at 8 o'clock, oh boy, we have, season 1 is all finished. So what does that? The question from the fans was, what about season 2? Well, he also announced that season 2 will be starting October 3rd.
Wow, that's not right after AEW starts.
Dude, that is the day after. I'm so glad it's not on the same night.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, that's crazy, Don.
With all of that news, and I got to reiterate, American Rana 2019 was absolutely amazing, brother.
Oh, I know. We're going to get into that a little bit.
Oh, I know Frank is going to, definitely. He was all about some American Rana, I'll tell you that.
All right.
So, hey, before your bill goes to $100, I should probably let you go.
Yeah, that'd be nice, Don. I'm trying to keep my monies in my pocket.
Hey, a brother needs a little change to walk around with, little walking around money, as they say, no?
Oh, I guess so, but it ain't coming from me, damn it.
My name is Brian Pillman Jr. I am 1/3 of the New Heart Foundation on Major League Wrestling, and you are listening to Peezy on the To Be Blunt podcast.
Peezy, you said you were only going to pay $2.99. You paid him $12.99?
Bro, I told you that I knew he was probably going to upcharge us.
$12.99.
I mean,
that's out of your personal funds, right? That's not out of the podcast funds, right?
Damn, yo. What am I going to do? I need the dirt. The show needs the dirt. The people want the dirt. I had to call Don.
No, I know. Don Kincaid's great people. It was great to see him this weekend. We'll pay you the $12.99 this time, Don, but we got to really work on Sun as a solid price.
I know. We can't be fucking around with these fluctuating prices.
What is this, the stock market, Don?
That's right. Wall Street. Wall Street, Don Kincaid. This is a new gimmick, yo. This is a new gimmick.
If you want to buy Don Kincaid stock, I guess it's what, DKH? Don Kincaid Hotline is the ticker.
Oh, my God.
Look it up. It probably goes up $15 and down, up and down 15 a day.
That's right. Well, let's get right into the wrestling news. We got to talk about Raw. We got to talk about SmackDown. We had 2 big shows this week.
I love them both.
I love them both, too. They had great wrestling on both shows, and we're going to start right through Raw. We're going to talk about, what I thought were key points. That when we talked about this, Frank, we both agreed, as we did just now, that Raw was super hot. Super hot. From start to finish, I thought it was hot. I love the way that they started the show with that, what the fuck did they call the match?
The match that you predicted we may have seen at SummerSlam last week started the show at Raw.
Right. There was a name.
Tag, the Scott knows what it was called. It was the Mosh Pit.
Thank you.
Tag team
That's
match.
why I was giving you the cues, but you weren't coming in, Scott. I was ready for you to let me know because I couldn't remember. But, dude, that shit had Heyman written all over it.
All over it.
Oh, my God. Just the way that they, just all the chaos and everyone around the ring. And, you knew right off the back that this was going to be,
3 weeks ago, we would have never seen that booked. But Paul Heyman's in charge.
Right.
And now what we want is what we saw, what you called out last week.
That's right, which was Drake Maverick and his wife versus R-Truth and Carmella.
For the 24/7 title.
Right. And then which is, I should be getting some kind of prize for this shit, I called it, I predicted it, unlike Scott did when he called Extreme Rules with Sable coming out,
But she didn't.
Right. But you know what? I did, goddammit. And what happened by the end of the night? Who walked out of there? The new 24/7 champion?
Well, Mike Kanellis did it first.
But who walked out of there, Scott?
Well, that'd be his wife, Maria Kanellis.
That's right. The first ever pregnant 24/7 or any kind of, champion in wrestling. Ever.
Yeah, it was weird.
Is it Scott ever? Am I right?
Oh, it's definitely ever.
Okay, good.
We were trying to speculate whether or not if Mae Young, before she gave birth to the Hand, if she was ever hardcore champion, but she wasn't. So therefore, Maria Kanellis is your only pregnant champion.
Yeah, but did you guys watch that? Wasn't it a little weird once she courted him out of the bathroom? How she was pregnant and she's lay down.
You mean out of the official locker room?
Yeah, I mean,
pretty convenient.
It was
that's
a
where
dominatrix approach, but it was cool. It worked.
I know. Next thing he's gonna have a leash and a chain on him.
It was weird.
That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
Though, and at the end of the day, it was very entertaining.
It was. It was.
And here we are opening the show talking about it. So it obviously was entertaining.
Obviously, you know what else was great? The gauntlet match. The gauntlet match on Raw was amazing. And I'll tell you what, out of all the guys in that match, the one who really looked like a huge star to me was Andrade.
Andrade, he's great. I've been a huge fan of his.
Me too. And Rey Mysterio put him over. Like, he got the win over Rey Mysterio. That's got to be points right there, And
then he went right back under. But I think Paul Heyman's smart enough. He's going to start using Andrade where we want him and where he should be used.
Right. He didn't win, but he looked real strong.
He looked like the man of the match.
Right. Exactly. That's what I mean.
It's like Kofi Kingston, even though he lost the gauntlet. He looked like the man of the match,
right?
And he got his shot, and now he's the champion.
That's right, exactly. You're right. And I just think that Ricochet, he won. We're gonna get AJ and Ricochet again.
Unfortunately,
I know. I mean,
honestly, I would have loved to see Rey Mysterio against AJ Styles, but who knows? They could be saving that one.
I would have liked to seen Cesaro and AJ Styles. Frank, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts: Cesaro and AJ Styles.
Right.
What you want to see?
Now, who would you have rather have seen face?
Social media.
Who would you have rather have seen AJ Styles face in that gauntlet match, other than
Aleister Black?
Okay, except Aleister Black wasn't in the match, but
right.
Anyway,
Jesus Christ,
it doesn't matter. AJ Styles.
Thank God Scott's here.
See, I'm not even. You guys didn't say in the gauntlet match.
Well, I thought that's what. Yeah, we were talking about who would have came out of the gauntlet match.
You were social media.
Let's be honest.
Andrade.
AJ Styles.
Andrade.
But AJ Styles could have at least a 4.5-star match with any one of those guys, right?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter who came out on top.
I mean, Bad Luck Fale could have a 4.5-star match as long as he's fighting Okada, But yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought that was a real good showing. More really good wrestling. But let's talk about, the main event. Let's talk about what happened between Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. Brock had this vicious, brutal attack. He just came out and just beat the shit out of Seth Rollins. F5 on the stairs, F5 on the chairs. It doesn't matter. F5 everywhere. It was just amazing,
And the best part of that is you left Paulie squealing to stop.
Yeah. And right. And that was a mind-blowing piece there. Just to see Paul Heyman begging Brock Lesnar. Because the crowd at one point was completely against Seth. They were chanting for another F5 one more time, to Brock Lesnar. And then after the end, with Seth's laying there bleeding from the inside, and Paul Heyman, right, blood and guts. That's right. Vince McMahon, he goes into a conference call and says, "We're not going to do any of that blood and guts."
Like they're doing in AEW.
And then next thing you know, 2 days later, they're doing blood and guts right on TV.
It was great.
But it was great. It was great.
Stop the ambulance, the beast,
Yeah. And
I don't know about you, but if I'm driving right around him. I don't know what type of ambulance driver they got over there.
But, it was brutal. It was great. But there was also, there was a lot of flaws in it also. And one thing that really had me going, right, was where the fuck was Becky Lynch in this whole thing?
She was there, man. She was watching. She was like, "Oh, that's my boyfriend getting his ass kicked again."
Well,
getting his arse kicked again, mate.
Well, okay. But how does that work? How does that look when they just had them in a storyline through Extreme Rules?
Yeah, but I think it's better that they're just squashing it. I don't even want to care. They're in a relationship. Let the relationship...
But it doesn't seem believable, bro.
Let the relationship be the relationship outside of TV.
You know what, though? If she wasn't at least in the background of that segment, I think everybody else would have been like, well, where is she? She should be accompanying.
I think the whole problem is that they showed her in the background, standing there with Seth's best friend, Roman Reigns.
I mean, Reigns was there in the background, too?
She should have been right next to the gurney or whatever the hell they rolled him out on.
She should have been
riding in the limo,
right in the ambulance. I agree.
At the very least, take off.
Limo. This isn't Ric Flair.
She just stuck there.
Charlotte Flair, but
she fucking snapped. Woo! We got that Charlotte Flair, baby. We smoking on that Charlotte Flair. Woo! But god damn it. It didn't do it for me. And I was just perplexed. It would have been way more believable if Becky was also completely concerned. Just unbelievably, just crying, whatever, all that shit, you know?
She's worried about having her 8th match with Natalia.
Right. And if she's crying, I mean, she can't be crying. She's the man.
She's the man.
She's going to lose credibility if she's seen crying to Seth Rollins.
Well, the problem is they're making Becky look like a fucking heel. And speaking of, like, let's talk about that segment where they had that thing with Natty and Fit Finlay that were training before Raw or whatever. And Becky comes in, you know, and like that was like to me a super heel thing. That was not a babyface thing.
Especially when she pushed down Finlay or whatever she did to him.
Yeah. But then she worked him on Twitter too.
Oh, see, I missed
She went the extra step.
But why are they doing
called
this?
him a traitor.
She's the hottest thing they got right now in the women's division. Absolutely 100%. You go ahead, change my mind.
Woo!
Oh, you son of a bitch! You're just saying that because we're smoking the Charlotte Flair.
I think Charlotte Flair is the best women's wrestler and entertainer in the business. I'm not a fan of Becky Lynch. Frank Knox will go on air live and write off that he is not a fan of Becky Lynch.
Oh, Scott,
I'm not a fan.
You're just asking who my favorite is?
Yeah, like
favorite female.
Bailey, of course.
I guess it's got to be Bailey.
It's
right.
Bailey, bro. How about you, Peezy?
What?
Yours is Becky.
Out
of everything they got, Moon.
I mean, Bailey's
Lynch.
kind of only my favorite because she gave me front row seats once when I scotted out to her.
That's right. That's right. And I got to enjoy the perks of that. You know.
It's all right. Peasy's signing off on Bailey too.
I don't know. Bailey's kind of awkward to me, so it just for me doesn't do it. I know. I like Charlotte. I like Becky. Those are definitely like the top two. There's no question in my mind. You know. And I know who else has an idea about what he thinks of things. And that's, you know, the greatest thing going for the 2B Blunt podcast, Frank. You know what I'm talking about because we talked to him already, you know?
Oh, you're talking about the newest member?
That's right. We're going to talk to right now.
You're talking about the blue-haired troll himself.
That's right. The blue-haired troll is back, but it's not who they think it is.
It's not Bray Wyatt.
It's not Bray Wyatt. You're right, but I'll tell you who it's gonna be.
The Fiend.
Now that I'm so pissed off, this is Trolling Loud with
Tim McMahon.
We got Tim McMahon on the phone here. Trolling Loud is back. Tim McMahon, what do you got for us?
Well, the day has finally come because I've arrived at the 2B Blunt podcast, the only podcast on the internet that matters, the hottest one on the scene, the 2B Blunt podcast with my good friend Peezy and Frank the Tank Knox.
Oh, Frank the Tank.
I coined that right here, so you can use it. I won't even charge you any royalties, damn it.
Oh, thanks, Tim.
So the first thing I want to get off my chest here, if I may, is who's this clown that used to do this segment? Because, you know what, I kept falling asleep every week while this guy starts talking, okay? Because he's a jabron, and he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. What's his name, guys?
You're talking about Bill Bungie?
Bill Bungie, yeah, that son of a bitch. I'll tell you right now, I cut that bungee cord, damn it, and I sent some tap. Because Tim McMahon's here, damn it. All right?
Oh,
and business is about to pick up.
Wow, the bungee cord's been cut, Peezy.
I can't
bungee cord's cut. He's never going to be back, Jack. I'll tell you right now.
Oh, my
So here's
God.
the deal, guys. Get ready for the foundation to be shaken up, all right? So next time I'm on this podcast, I highly suggest you put up a disclaimer because things are going to get very real, and I'm going to piss off a lot of people. So get ready. Put it up. I highly suggest it. Quite frankly, I don't want to get any hate mail.
That's right. If you got kids, turn the volume down, change the channel. That's about to get crazy. Tim McMahon's here.
All right? I'm going to eat you alive, you son of a bitch. That's right.
Oh,
so the first thing I want to get off my chest, I'm the real McMahon, okay? I'm Tim McMahon. Screw Vinny Lumpton, okay? This guy thinks he's a hot shot. He ain't nothing. I'm the real McMahon, Tim McMahon. Now that we got that out of the way, he can kiss my ass, too, because he's going senile, damn it. All right?
Wow.
So here's the...
Jesus.
Oh, yeah, I told you. We're pulling out all the stops, Steve. We're pulling out all the stops. So the first thing that ticked me off, okay, when I logged onto my Twitter account and went on social media, that was the big mistake of the day, okay, because I come across an ad named Oliver Hines. And I don't even want to promote this jack-off. Oliver Hines. It's some fucking mark, okay, that's sitting on his couch in his mother's basement, eating a bunch of Cheetos and munging up his keyboard with a bunch of orange Cheeto dust, damn it. All right?
He's got those Cheeto fingers.
That's right.
That's right, the damn Cheeto fingers.
Probably
He
the
can't even
flaming
speak
hot
letters
kind.
anymore, damn it, all right? Stupid idiot Oliver Hines. What a clown, right? So get what this guy says, okay? He goes, the new WWE network layout sucks the fat ones. Less content. You have to play Where's Wally with other companies' pay-per-views that WWE owns the rights to. First of all, where's Wally? Where's Wally? It's Waldo, you moron, you stupid Mark.
That's right. Tell him, Tim.
Yeah, that's some drunkard on the street getting hammered on some unknown alley that you Wally. Come on, man. It's Waldo, you idiot. Did you fail kindergarten? Oh, my God. Only guy in the world I know that's ever failed it. We all had the book. We saw his nerdy ass with the black glasses and the stupid striped shirt. It's Waldo. So now they got that on. Right? He goes, enjoy wondering why everyone is switching allegiance to AEW. At Vince McMahon, hashtag clueless. Guess what, Oliver? Hashtag clueless is right because you're an idiot. And you're all right? No. So everybody's switching to AEW. You think people are switching to AEW because they're upset about the network? No, Oliver. The only one upset about the network is you idiot.
That's right, damn it. I'm glad someone else sees it. These guys are crazy out there, Tim.
I'm telling you, man. You know, I'm losing brain cells every time I read a stupid tweet. I mean, it's unbelievable. There should be an anti-Mark button, okay, where I could go on there, okay, and hit, instead of the block, it should be block Mark. Okay, so I can get rid of all the asshats who are clogging up my damn Twitter feed, all right?
It's devastating.
Oh, I'm pissed now. So the next thing I got to get off my chest, all right? I'm logging on to the Twitter, okay, and this reliable news site, okay, it says, Randy Orton's contract with hashtag WWE expires in January of next year. Hello? It's July, not even close to January right now. Plenty of summer left. We even got winter left. And you're sitting here talking about washed-up-ass Randy Orton, 45 now? Washed-up Randy Orton. And his contract expires in January, and maybe he's going to jump ship to our beloved AEW. Guess what, guys? He ain't going to AEW. Number one, he's too tall. And number one, all he knows is 7 moves, so he's not going to fit in with the fuck that, damn it, all right?
Fucking bullshit!
Randy Orton going, that's right, Bubba.
You are another no good son of a bitch! I wish you was here to I fuck your ass!
And make you humble, Bubba. Exactly. He and I know what's going on here. The only one that doesn't is this stupid Oliver what's-his-name, okay? And then the last thing I want to talk about here is the latest news round that rolled through my Twitter feed, okay?
Oh, what's that?
CM Punk, okay, CM Punk, all right, his skinny fat ass, okay? CM Punk admits that he was offered a contract from AEW via text message, but doubts that he will ever return to the ring again. Hello? This is 2019, not 2010. You were relevant maybe 10 years ago, dude, okay? And since then, what, you got a fucking contract with UFC? Okay. Genius maneuver, right, dude? Because you got your fucking block knocked off, pal. All right? And so now you failed at WWE because you took your ball and you went home with it. And then you had the genius idea to go to the UFC and think you could hang with those guys. But 1-2 punch to the face and you realize, oh, shit, this is pretty real, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Fuck you, piece of shit!
That's right. So now we got, okay, so then, all right, the icing on the cake here, okay? First of all, who the fuck gave Sean Waltman a podcast, okay? Okay? Oh, good God. I mean, if I wanted to hear somebody ramble, I'd get drunk too and just talk to myself in my own household. I don't need to fucking log on and listen to the 1-2-3 kid spew his nonsense on me, okay? Because this week, 1-2-3 kid weighed in on the CM Punk situation. Okay, and he goes on to say, CM Punk will likely be signing with AEW. I've said this long ago. Well, guess what? Nobody heard you because nobody was tuning into your podcast, pal. Nobody knew you. unbelievable. I blame the dirt sheets for giving this guy the time of day because no one gives a shit what John Waltman, 123 Kid, has to say, and especially no one gives a crap what Punk has to say. These people need to get over it. It was in the past. It's over and done with. The man's irrelevant.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm pissed now. You know what, guys? I'm going to go do some bicep curls. I'll talk to you fellas later, okay?
All right.
Yeah, it's the hippie, Dickie Moon, man. It's time to sit back, relax, and chill. You're tuned into the 2B Blunt podcast with Frank Knox and Peezy. Peace.
Oh my God, Tim McCann, everybody. Or Tim McMahon, I'm sorry. Tim McMahon, that was hilarious.
Wow.
But I do gotta point out.
This guy's botching left and right. If you want to stump the Scott today, might be your day to call in.
It might be a good day to do it. But as far as stumping goes, I mean, Tim McMahon.
It's Tim McMahon, damn it.
Tim McMahon.
It's Tim McMahon.
You know, I gave you one job and you fucked it up.
We're trying to let you lead in from break, and here you are calling out this guy's by the wrong name. It's Tim McMahon.
I just want to let Tim McMahon know that washed-up Randy Orton is not 45 years old. He's only 39.
Oh. Scott with the facts, you know?
Well, that's why he's here.
That's right, exactly. Let's go into SmackDown, you know, before we got a big call in.
Time out. Before we get into SmackDown.
Oh, Jesus.
We did miss something on Raw. There was a title change this week.
You know what, Scott? You're right.
I'm always right. I'm the Scott.
Since you botched the Open, let's see if you can tell the crowd what exactly happened with that title change on Raw.
So we know what happened, right? There was a triple threat tag team title match, and we have new tag team champions. The Revival lost the tag team titles to none
Who
other
was on
than...
my top 5 last week?
Was the OC on your top 5?
No, the Revival.
That's right. It definitely was.
This week, I don't think. They might not even be in the top 15 anymore. They may not even be in this company anymore. But, yes, the OC, Gallows and Anderson, once again, your new Raw Tag Team Champions.
Absolutely.
Great.
And that was great.
Great.
It was great.
I loved it.
Me too. And you know what? They deserved it because their first run wasn't exactly very memorable.
Not
you
at
know?
all.
And I hope that now that they're teamed up with AJ and they got the OC formed, the original club or the, however they want to, whatever it stands for. Did they even verify it yet, Scott?
It's the original club.
It's the original,
club.
The only club that matters.
The only club that matters. Wow, that's a lot of letters, though.
I told you earlier, PZ, if they're going to have two factions like the New Day and the OC, please let them be.
I just want to say something. I have a message from Tim McMahon to the Scott. He says, "It's McMahon, moron!
I'm gonna break your neck when I see you.
You're fired!"
I'm sorry. I just hope he accepts my apology for not calling him.
You
Timmy
know what?
Watson.
You have to go to rehab with Moonshine. We'll see you in 90 days.
That's right. We might have to send him over to rehab. Let's not get off topic. I want to talk about SmackDown. We got Mark. God, listen to me. I'm way too high.
You're following my suit right now.
It's Mark
We're all doing
Adam
families tonight.
Haggerty. Interview coming up next, right after this. It's going to be amazing. If you got anything to talk about from Raw or SmackDown, call in 860-384-7110. We'd love to hear from you. If you got anything to add to the discussion, or if you want to try to stump the Scott, please call in.
SmackDown, though. A lot of good wrestling this week.
Dude, I'm telling you, from Raw right to SmackDown, they killed the in-ring stuff this week. The opener with Owens and Drew McIntyre was fucking fire.
Way to go.
These two hard hitters put on, what I thought was a really, really good pay-per-view quality matchup.
And first time ever match.
First time that they gave it away on SmackDown, which kind of, bothers me, but that's okay. I mean, they really could have built that up to SummerSlam, but I guess if he's fighting Shane, then it doesn't really matter. But
SummerSlam is just a whole bunch of rematches anyways.
Oh, well, we'll save that one for the go-home show.
Yeah, all right.
The big go-home show for the 2B Blunt podcast. I thought Owens getting the win clean was great. I don't know why they're just fucking up Drew McIntyre right now. The guy, I'm telling you, I keep saying it every week, he should be in the main event. And they're clowning him.
I mean, even The Rock just said recently McIntyre is the next top superstar. But Owens and McIntyre, somebody's got to do a job, right? Somebody's got to lose. And who has a high-profile match at the pay-per-view at SummerSlam? Kevin Owens.
Kevin
what
Owens.
Does McIntyre have right now?
He had to go over since Shane wasn't there that week, Had to go over. And they got to take advantage of that. And that was great. Ember Moon and Bliss was all right. I thought that Ember Moon came out looking really strong again from the match itself, not until the post-match beatdown where Bayley comes in and gives her the belly to belly.
But it was retribution from last week. So
I get that. But I still have a problem with that. Bro. As a guy who was who was wrestled before, who understands how the things work, I don't get why they would you could see the crowd's face. Like they were all confused when she hit her finisher move on Ember Moon. We get it's retribution, but she's supposed to be the goody two shoe. What I mean?
But last week Ember Moon pretended to be her friend and hit her with hers. So it's retribution.
So who's the heel in the story? Scott?
Ember Moon. But anyway, Ember Moon's gonna lose. Bayley's gonna win. It's just
it's totally a babyface
short term feud.
I guess so. And then of course AJ and Kofi, great main event.
Yeah, great. But Dave Meltzer decided to break. It was going to be the New Day versus the OC because Vince McMahon took the rights away from writing SmackDown from Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, right. He's the same guy who said Eric Bischoff wasn't going to be doing creative on SmackDown.
He did it again the next week, and he said it was going to be the OC versus the New Day. First time ever.
Well, not even Meltzer, though.
Meltzer's a fucking jabroni.
WWE's official Twitter account posted earlier that day, and I won't even tell you the time. I don't know the time. But they posted that it would be the New Day.
If you know the time, call in right now. You can stump the Scott.
That's right. Stump the Scott. Stump the Scott. Let's see it, baby.
I feel like anybody that's going to ask me that question is looking that up right now.
Of course.
Anyway, earlier that day on Tuesday, they posted that it was going to be the New Day. It was going to be Big E and Xavier Woods versus...
Plus Kofi Kingston.
No. That was the second. It was just Woods and Big E versus... Elias and McIntyre before that got changed, and then it got changed to a 6-man all gold champions,
all gold,
and it was AJ and the club, AJ Gallows Anderson versus the entire New Day, and then
the original club.
About maybe an hour or 2 hours after that, then it got changed again and said it was only going to be 1-on-1 AJ versus Kofi, which honestly, out of those three, probably the one I would look forward to the most.
And I agree. It was a great match. It was a great match, but you know what wasn't so great? The final minutes of SmackDown.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's talk about Roman Reigns getting toppled over. On SmackDown.
You want to call that toppled over?
Something.
That looks like I took it in Snapchat, swiped left a couple times, and went slow-mo times 2.
No! That's how it's done, baby. Maybe you versus me in a promo later, goddammit.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. But honestly, that was the corniest shit I've ever seen, bro. The corniest shit. It was so bad. They've done a lot of good stunts before with Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon back in the day, and everything looked super credible. But this whoever the fuck decided this was the one to air at the end of the night, deserves to be slapped in the face. One man, one hand, one face. Down.
I'm telling you right now, if they had to rewrite SmackDown, right, all hours before the show, I bet you during SmackDown, they probably rewrote that and said, oh, well, let's just have stuff fall on Roman, and then we'll just figure it out next week.
But they did it all in slow motion, bro. I mean, you was literally I had enough time while the shit was falling to stand up and yell at my TV and be like, bitch, move. Bitch, get the fuck out the way. I'm yelling at the fucking TV, bro.
I mean, I watched it and I was like, man, is that Roman Reigns or is that Neo and Morpheus from The Matrix? Because things are real slow and throwed.
And they had 4 different camera angles of the shit toppling on top of him.
And if you're going to do that, man, put the guy down. Don't let him get right up and brush his shoulders off like he's Jay-Z and move it for, oh, man, I'm a little razzled and dazzled.
A little razzle-dazzle, baby.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, I know I have the burning question inside me. I don't know about you guys, but, who was it?
I was wondering the same thing.
What was it?
I want that. That's a good question. I mean, I'll kick it off. All right, listen. If they're gonna do it, they've been building up this whole thing with Samoa Joe and whatnot. And
that's what I thought was gonna happen. I was confused. I thought it was definitely Joe. But now I know it's not because Joe wouldn't do that.
But would he? I mean, I don't know.
Joe cuts a promo and looks you in your eye like Alex Rojas
You're right.
last week.
You're right.
He's
You're
not
right.
going to push over the stage in a Matrix.
Right. I mean, I guess it would have had to have been someone bigger than that, right?
I'm thinking it was Lars Sullivan. He came in and now he's gone. Now where is he again?
I want to say he's
injured.
still on the injured list, yeah.
He blew his knee out.
He blew his knee.
He's gone for 9 months.
You know, I told you guys
Right, Scott?
before the show, and you guys even warned me. You set me both up.
It's all Scott's fault.
I'm sorry. I'll make sure to do an injured report every week. All right, Peezy, who do you got? Because I want to save mine for
I
last.
told you. I thought it was going to be Samoa Joe.
So you thought it was Samoa
That
Joe.
was my pick.
So if you would have asked me when they introduced it as Roman Reigns is going to like announce his SummerSlam opponent or whatever, I would have told you based on what Raw was, I would have said Roman's going to captain like a 10-man tag. And I said it was going to be Roman Reigns, along with the Usos, along with Cedric Alexander, who, right, they're pushing to the moon right now on Raw, right? He was at that last segment.
Yeah, I agree.
Jumped off the Titantron, right?
Oh, that's right.
And you need a fifth person for that team. And I say, well, he's not doing anything for SummerSlam, so Braun Strowman maybe? And then they would be facing the team of Samoa Joe, Elias, Drew McIntyre, and then Gallows and Anderson.
But Scott, aren't you a pay-per-view or two ahead? This isn't Survivor Series. This is SummerSlam.
Survivor Series.
That's what I'm wondering. What this guy's talking about?
And
talking
Survivor
about,
Series
bro?
is going to be Raw versus
You're just like that jabroni that Tim was talking about, reporting on Orton's contract coming up in January and July.
He's trying to report Survivor Series, and we're talking about SummerSlam.
Listen, well, they might have to save it for Survivor Series because the rumor is now the Usos can't make it into Canada. But anyway.
Oh.
And I say Gallows and Anderson on that heel team, but I really think it should be Revival. But apparently, you know, there might be something going on with the Revival now. But we'll touch that maybe on another podcast.
Where are you going to pick? Who are you picking, bro?
Who's your fifth member?
Where the fuck are we going here?
We asked one person who pushed over. Now tell us the one person. You listed 15 superstars. We asked for one.
All right, I'm going to give you my one, all right? Because this is what I thought it was before SmackDown started. Now I'm going to tell you what it is, I think, after SmackDown started.
Here we go.
Who's rumored to have a match at SummerSlam? Supposedly, it's supposed to be against Dolph Ziggler, but Dolph Ziggler already has a match right now against The Miz. So I'm telling you right now, it's Goldberg versus Reigns, Spear versus Spear, and you know what? Goldberg, he's got a lot of redemption, right? He wants to redeem himself from super shit down.
Just like Undertaker did.
Oh, super shit down.
And who was Undertaker's tag team partner at the last pay-per-view?
Roman Reigns.
But
I think it's going to be
Goldberg did it.
That's a pretty solid prediction, Frank. I don't know.
Yeah, Goldberg's been on Instagram saying "Fear the Spear, Jackhammer's coming." If you don't just turn your phone volume off, you're going to have BS.
That's right.
I'm sorry, but listen.
Put that shit on silent. God damn it. What do you think this is?
I mean, what do you think this is?
You have to be like, you're like a guest, and you're disrespecting the man who demands respect.
I hate putting Jim Johnson ringtones on silence.
That was a ding, bro. That was not an Undertaker gong.
But personally, for me, SummerSlam's coming up in Toronto, and who is besides Edge? Edge is from Toronto, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Who
else
is
is
the
coming?
second biggest superstar from Toronto, Scott?
Are you going to say Christian? Because I don't think so.
It's going to be Trish Stratus.
Oh, well, you're right. Well, you're saying Trish is going to face Roman?
No,
we're moving on, Scott.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We had a King's Court this weekend.
Stay on the wagon or get fell off,
We had a
goddammit.
King's Court this weekend in SmackDown. When's the last time we had a King's Court?
I couldn't even tell
Scott?
you.
You want to stump the Scott?
I want to say the last
is
King's
here.
Court was the one that Dolph Ziggler kicked him in the chest, in the heart.
Peezy, fact check it, because I just
But
tried
I
to
could be
stump
wrong.
the Scott.
I could be wrong.
Frank Knox 1, Scott
Listen,
0.
I just remember 94 is with William Shatner, but I want to say his last King's Court might have been the one with Ziggler kicked him in the chest.
You could be right. We'll actually fact check this after.
All right, we'll
the show.
fact check.
That's probably a better idea.
Listen,
We'll
none of you know. You're all fact checking too at home right now.
That's right. Call it 860-384-7110. So, yeah, we got Trish Stratus coming back to fight Charlotte Flair.
Great match, dude. I'm probably looking forward to this match more than any match in SummerSlam card that I've seen so far.
Well, I agree.
Woo!
That's right. Woo, the Charlotte Flair, baby. You know, she's already ran through the entire women's division. She's gone through them all. And this makes perfect sense.
It's a perfect time to light the second blunt.
I mean, I was going to wait for Haggerty, but, you know.
It's
Go ahead.
Charlotte Flair.
That's right, Charlotte. We're talking about Charlotte. Light it up. Light it
Flair.
up. Light it up, goddammit. You light that blunt, and you let her right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know? And I feel like Flair has gone through the entire division, and I feel like this is a really good stepping stone for Flair to further herself as you said, Frank, the best women's wrestler in the business. And it also is something fresh and not like a repeat of something she's already done before.
It's one of only 2 matches on the entire SummerSlam card where it's going to be the first time 2 superstars has faced off in the center of a ring.
Well, it's about time, you know? It's about damn time. You know, I was kind of shocked at the reaction that Trish got, though. That was kind of weird to me. She came out and there was like barely any reaction whatsoever. But I know as soon as they get to, you know, SummerSlam in Toronto, it's going to be a monster pop. You know?
It'll be big for her.
Scott, side note, do you know who the second match is that's for the first time SummerSlam? 2 superstars facing off, first time ever.
Wait, so what's the question?
What is besides Trish Stratus and Charlotte Flair, what is the only other match in SummerSlam that's the first time?
Yeah, because every other one's a repeat, right?
Yeah.
It's been a rematch. So
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's definitely Bayley versus Ember Moon.
I did not stump the Scott this time.
Oh, it was a nice try. It was a real good try, man. But, you know, with WWE featuring 2 Canadian females on the SummerSlam card, right? My question is, which one of them is going to get the feel-good go-home story? Is Trish going to go over and beat the Queen, or is Natty going to beat Becky? I do the Jeopardy music, but I do not have it queued up.
That might be a question that stumped me.
Here it is. Becky wins. Charlotte wins. Charlotte does not win clean, though.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know. I mean, is Ronda Rousey pregnant yet? Or maybe she found out she can't have kids.
Oh, I figured if Ronda was going to come back, it would have been to cost Becky her match. You know, and then lead up to Becky pinned, you know.
Where's Ronda been?
I feel...
Trying to make babies.
I think Bayley's going to beat Ember Moon, which, I mean, that's going to put Ember Moon kind of down. It's going to not build her up as much. But I see Bayley versus Charlotte as the next feud out of this. The question is, what's Becky Lynch's next feud out of this? And I'm not sure.
It's not Lacey Evans. It's not going to be Natalya. I think Peezy may be on something. I think it's because, I mean, Ronda Rousey lost at WrestleMania, and everyone that watched it live, in person, seeing it wasn't clean, and she never was heard from again.
That's right.
So maybe Ronda's coming out.
Maybe.
Could be. You know who I think the man's going to...
You know who the real man is?
Who's that?
The man of the show is Mark Adam Haggerty.
That's right. I think what we're going to do, you know.
I mean, this guy was growing weed. Now he's the hottest ring announcer from
That's right.
Maine to Florida.
It's a pretty amazing story. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have an interview with legendary ring announcer.
Renowned.
That's right.
Legendary.
Mark Adam Haggerty.
It's the highest motherfucking podcast around. To be blunt.
Easy. Scott, you should just turn Scott.
That's right. That's too late.
Scott's turn.
We already got it. We're going to get in touch. We got Mark Adam Haggerty coming in.
Hello.
Oh, Mark Adam Haggerty. Is this Mark Haggerty? God damn it.
Yes, it is. What's going on, man?
Mark Haggerty, the Peezy of the 2B Blunt podcast. Man, we got Mark on the phone, God damn it.
This is legendary. This guy was from the West Coast to the East Coast, and he's legendary on both coasts. This is unbelievable.
I feel like I got to give him a proper intro. I mean, this guy's known for making great intros for many wrestlers coming out to the ring. I mean, he's the voice. He's the voice. Mark, I mean, how many times do you think you probably have, done an intro? Like, thousands at this point, probably, huh?
Probably close to 3,000 if I had to ballpark it.
Holy shit.
Wow. And how
Holy
many
shit.
different promotions have you worked with, you think, ballpark?
I don't have to ballpark that. I know that specifically because I keep track of things like a sociopath. 56. I've worked for 56 companies in 18 states, including Washington, D.C., plus the UK and Canada.
Wow. Mark, has anyone ever introduced you to the ring before?
A few times. I've wrestled a few times.
And, you know, like I'm a manager every now and again, so I get announced with, although when I'm a manager, I usually cut the ring announcer off and then announce my guy or girl myself. But the few times that I've wrestled, yes, I've been announced.
Dude, I feel like I have to give you the proper intro for the podcast, you know?
Okay.
Would you be okay with this?
Please.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, here's former West Coast weed grower, now legendary ring announcer. Here's the best in the world, Mark Haggerty.
That was good. I don't know if I could do that well right now. I'm not really in the zone for announcing right now. That's pretty good.
You don't have to be. That's my job. That's my job, bro.
You're going to be doing commentary this weekend, right?
That's right. I am. Right in Tazrax. We're going to be at the same show, I believe.
Yes, we are. We're going to be at Tazrax in Naugatuck, Connecticut for House Rules. Hashtag House Rules. Use that hashtag. I'm excited for that show, dude.
I know. Hashtag, what was it? TOS House Rules, I believe. That's going to be, it's going to be fire, bro. It's going to be fire, you know? And any show that's got me and you on the bill's got to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's
Great talents.
All the TOS people, and I'm bringing a couple of guys, 3 guys from Chikara, so it'll be a good time for sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Wow, that's huge, man. That's huge. You know, you working with Chikara is pretty awesome, bro.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. You know, I started at the beginning of this year, and we're already gearing up for a really big year next year. We're going to start shooting for next year, beginning in October. So, yeah, I love working with Chikara. It's been a wild and fun ride so far.
Bro, I don't mean to change topic. All right, if you don't mind. I mean, obviously, we're a big weed podcast here. You know, we like to cover a lot of wrestling, but I like to cover a lot of weed. I'd like to quickly cover, if possible, your story, you know, about how you started back on the West Coast of California and then eventually moved over here, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, of course. So as Peezy alluded, I used to grow weed for a living. I was featured in High Times magazine recently. They called me the voice of indie wrestling, which I thought was pretty cool.
That was true.
Actually, it's funny you ask if people have announced me. Last week, David Adams was the announcer on a show on Synergy, and I was in the crowd doing social media work, and he announced me as High Times Magazine's voice of independent wrestling. I thought that was pretty cool. But
how did you get into that, bro? Like, how did you grow up in California?
So, I'm from Long Beach, California. And, you know, it kind of happened by accident.
That's where Snoop Dogg's from, too, right?
Snoop Dogg, Sublime.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a great city. No wonder why a great talent like you
came from Long Beach. That's so true. How did we not put this together?
God damn it, PZ. You should have told me he was from Long Beach.
Bro. You just did.
But, I grew up not really like smoking weed or anything, quite frankly. I just drank a lot. But then I went to college and I started smoking weed in college, and it was always just something I did for fun. But then I was living with this girl in Los Angeles, and she was working as a bud tender at a collective in Long Beach, which is like my hometown. So I'm like, fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
So she's working there, and then one day she says to me, she's like, oh, so this girl that I work with is can't come to work. She had to go home because I guess this chick was from like Canada, and was facing like some kind of a deportation thing. Like
what?
So like yeah, she had to go home and like handle some shit. So this chick is like, oh, so like, you know, if you want to come in, my boss said like you can come in and work for today. It's just like a 1-day thing. So I went in and I did that, and like, you know, as you know, I'm something of a social butterfly. You know?
So true.
I'm very personable, so like I was up in there like, hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the shop. Yeah, you know, and Andy, Chris, and Steve, of course, you know, edibles right over here. Yeah, you know, we got these vape gimmicks. Ah ha ha. You know, like
That's
so,
awesome.
So I guess after like a day, the guy that owned the shop was like, hey man, this girl went back to Canada. Don't know when she's gonna come back. If you want to stick around, by all means. Here you go. So that turned into like a 2-year thing. I ended up being the manager of that shop. And as I've told people before, like we went through like a bunch of raids, like we went to court with a bunch of shit. Like it was a turbulent job, but it was like cool and meaningful.
Well, this is right around when they first like had like legalized in California, right?
No, well, so like this was yes and no. So like this was weed was made medicinally legal in 1996. So from like 96 up until 2000, I think I want to say like 15, 16, you could just go to like a doctor and be like, oh, my head hurts. And he'll give you like, and you'll give him $35 and he'll give you a piece of paper and you just go buy weed. So like
awesome.
That's how that works. That's how that worked for like 20 years. And then they hopped on the Colorado, Washington, type bandwagon where they're just like, no, recreationally legal because we want to get in on this taxation gimmick. So that's what happened then. But what happened with us, like around 2000, from 2012 to 2014, we were getting raided a lot because the law was so weird in California because the federal government said, no, weed isn't good. And then the state government said, yeah, it is. What are you talking about? But then I guess what they settled on is that like local municipalities, meaning like all the individual cities, can make their own rules. So if a city like LA is like, we're cool with these shops being open, we're cool with all this, then it's cool. No one's going to bother them. But I guess Long Beach, as cool of a city as it is, as we said, Snoop Dogg, Sublime, Mark Haggerty, you name it. But like,
that's right.
As cool as it is, they were like, no, we don't want this. So like, we fought and stayed open against the law technically, and just kept getting raided. Like we kept reopening, but eventually I ended up getting into growing in Gardena, California.
See, that's huge right there, man. That's something I wish I could have done. You know, I would have loved to have grown like, weed. I mean, I have, but like, professionally.
It's not too late. It's never too late, brother.
Well, trust me, I gotta get this goddamn podcast now.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
But like, so I started doing that, and it was the same kind of thing where, like, I joined in with someone else who was on, and I had a knack for it, and I liked it, and I sort of bought into it, because it's the kind of thing where, like, you're doing it with a bunch of people. Like, one dude basically owns it. You're going in to help out. He's paying you to do some stuff, and then it's like, oh, man, we got to get a new air conditioning unit. How much does that shit cost? $10,000. Well, I'll pay for it, and I guess I'm part of this shit now. And that's like how it happened.
So did you grow in the Long Beach area, or did you move up more north, like to the Humboldt County area?
No. I mean, I'm Southern California through and through.
Cool.
I've actually never been that far north. I know that it sounds so crazy to people like out here. They're like, "Oh man, like what's San Francisco?" Like I'm like, I've never fucking been there. Like, it's like 9 hours away from where I grew up. Like, have you been everywhere that's 9 hours away from where you live? Goddamn. What's Ohio like, guys? Like, I don't know. Like, so, anyway, but like,
so how'd you go from doing all that to moving to the East Coast then?
So, all right. So like while I was doing all this, I was growing, and it's so crazy because like I talk to people and they're like, oh, so you went legitimate, and I was like, so what happened was like with all of the things I was doing, I was ending up going to court all the time, not on my own behalf, but like more like on a lobbying type thing. And then I got involved with different not-for-profit organizations and started working for them full-time in addition to growing. And then
So you're a weed
them
activist as well as growing weed at the same time.
for a very short time, yeah, because that ended up parlaying itself into working for local politicians, because I went to school for English literature and political science. So I ended up meeting up with these politicians and people at meetings, and they thought like, they're like, oh, this dude can talk. You know, he looks presentable in a suit, as all my fans know.
Now, when you went to school for political science and English, did you have the ambition to eventually be in politics?
No. I was going to be a high school teacher. I was going to be a high school dude. I was going to be like a high school English teacher, and
The modern day Walter White.
That's right.
I was
But English teacher.
It's so crazy because I was going to be a teacher, and then at the time I was just like working in a sandwich shop in LA, and then this gimmick at the weed shop opened up, and I did that, and it led to one thing to one thing to one thing. And I always think back, like, I wouldn't be in wrestling because what happened to just connect it is I ended up working for these different politicians on their campaigns and things. I ended up having different contracts with different people, different politicians, and then I ended up going to work for one located on the East Coast, and that's what brought me here.
Oh,
and
so I didn't know that.
What's really weird, so like I came to the East Coast in 2015, and when I came here, I wasn't in wrestling at all. I wasn't involved in wrestling at all.
Were you a fan of wrestling? Were you watching wrestling?
I had the
following
WWE Network.
How to start?
It's a good start.
I had the WWE Network, but when I moved here, I realized like how prevalent the independent scene was, because it's not that deep. It's deeper now in California, but even now it's nothing compared to here. And back
Really?
when I was there, like there were very few. There was Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and they would run basically TV tapings every weekend. But it's the same people, and nothing against them. They're great, but it was the only thing. And now there's a lot more like indies, like bar wrestling popping up and stuff like that. Like PWG is out there, but they're really far from where I am.
Well, California is like the size of the entire East Coast. So,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's like there's only so many people can be into wrestling in one demographic.
Exactly. Good point.
So when I came here, I just I hadn't been really into wrestling in a long time, but watching the network and seeing local independent stuff, I caught the bug again. And you know what, I always joke with people, like I saw an ad on a dirt sheet that I was reading. I don't know what it was, like Jeff Hardy coming back to WWE. This is back in, whatever. So like I was on there and I read there was like an ad and it was like, we're looking for writers, we pay cash and this and that. So that was music to my ears. And I was thinking, like, I'm earning my living writing for these politicians and for people. I mean, I don't, maybe not switch occupations, but maybe supplement my income with something that I actually want to write about. That would be cool.
Yeah.
So I started writing about wrestling for different websites. A whole bunch of, like, probably the most noteworthy. Well, I mean, there's like Wrestling Inc., Lords of Pain, TWNP News, like just a whole bunch of different.
All these sites that I've been to.
Now, was there like one moment when you moved east where it really re-triggered your passion for wrestling outside of that ad you saw on one of the dirt sheets?
Like
maybe a show you went to locally, or
it's so weird because I think it was really, and it's so weird to say this, I think it really was the WWE Network more than anything else, because I grew up watching wrestling from a certain era, from like 1995, 96, 97, like the WWF New Generation, the NWO,
the
of course.
Attitude Era.
This is the same time we grew up.
Same time we grew up, man. When you hear that glass shatter, it's like.
Yeah, but even before that, like I was much more into like the era before things got like attitude-y, like more of the new generation era. So for me to go back and to like watch that on the network was like, wow, like this is great. Like, and I started to find new things that I didn't know about before. And what that led me to, like, once I felt like I exhausted everything I wanted to see on the network, I was like, all right, well, let me see what Ring of Honor's been up to. Let me see what Impact's been up to. Let me see what's this Lucha Underground thing. What is it? Like, so I started discovering everything, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And that's why I went to Pro Wrestling Syndicate, which was a huge indie at the time. It is now, it's not the same thing, but most of the same talent. One of the owners of that are now associated with WrestlePro.
Okay.
So I would do these PWS shows, these WrestlePro shows, and I was just like so into it again. And so I started, like I said, I was writing and I was also podcasting. And through that kind of stuff, you know, you'll like, I don't know if you guys have like, you know, being that you talk about like weed and stuff too, and not as much wrestling, but like, so it's really easy for podcasters, you know what I mean? To hit up a promoter, as I've noticed, and be like, hey, I have this podcast. Can I come to your show and get a goddamn table and sell my bullshit and like interview your people? And that's cool because like 58% of podcasters are really cool. I know that sounds arbitrary, but
it's true.
It is true, man. But the problem is we've hit up people, and that because we're kind of on the weed side, they've been kind of hesitant, I feel like,
to work with us.
But when I've talked to some of the workers in person, they're like, yeah, let's go do it right now. You got your setup? And it's like one of those things, like an independent wrestler doesn't go to a show unless he has his gear. Because you never know when your time's going to be called.
That's right. Same thing with us at this point.
You know, if we're going to be in this, we really got to be in this full time.
Well, for sure. And I mean, that's what it was. So like I was invited to a wrestling event just to like cover it for, I think it was like dailywrestlingnews.com or something. And I was just covering it for them, and they didn't have I think like some kind of like they didn't have a commentator. I don't know if it was play-by-play or whatever. And I was there, and I was just a guy that knew about wrestling and stuff, and they put me in that fucking spot in that moment. And I did it, and then one thing led to the next, and now 260-something events later, in less than 3 years, I mean, that's how it all happened.
That's crazy, man. I mean, that's just insane that you went through all that and then ended up where you are today. So now fast forward a little bit. Here you are. You're doing shows all the time. I mean, I see you literally booked like every weekend. It's insanely awesome, and I love to see you out there. I love when I love when you do announcing. I like being there on commentary and being able to hear you is great. But like, what is your favorite aspect of being a wrestling announcer that keeps you coming back?
Oh, that's a really good question, man. So, you know what I tell people all the time? You know, if you and I ever drive together, I'll tell you this because I pontificate to people when they drive with me.
I hope we do one day.
I tell people, I say, like, you know what? You can love the wrestling or the announcing or the commentary or whatever you do. Whatever you do, you can love it. You know, the refereeing, it don't matter. Like, whatever you do, you can love every second of it. But if you don't love the journey to and from the show and spending that time with those people that you're with in that moment, if you don't, and I know it sounds so trite because it's like, oh, you know, part of the team, it's about the journey, it's not about the destination. But like, that really is, it's not only true, but like, think about this. Think about me, okay? Last weekend, I drove 1,600 miles. I went to Philadelphia, from Jersey to Philadelphia, up to Maine, down to Washington, D.C., back up to Philadelphia, back to Jersey. I did all that, and it took me, let's say 20 hours. Everything took me 20 hours travel time. 20 hours travel time. However, I spent like 6 hours at events. You know what I mean? So if I don't love those 20 hours around the wrestling business, then there's no point in doing this. And that, honestly, as much as like I really do love doing these, and the bigger the shows get, the more I love them. The more high profile, the more like pay-per-view type stuff I do. I love that stuff. But I really love the road trips with my friends. I love hanging out before the shows and bullshitting. I love chilling afterwards and just talking about like, you know, what we all just did. I just love the camaraderie of all this. And if the camaraderie of wrestling wasn't so strong, I'm not so sure I would be strong enough to keep doing this. Because like I said, I've put 68,000 miles on my car since last July from zero. So
jeez, man. Oh, wow. That's what it's all about, though, doing the drives.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. I mean, it really is. And you've just been killing it. And I know you have another interview coming up. And I feel like I could talk to you forever, but I want to do a part 2 with you in studio eventually. Because I feel like there's so much more we can get into. You know what I mean? But I just have one more question, you know?
I don't have to talk to them for 15 minutes. I don't want to have dead air between now and then. Take your time. You have 15 minutes. So talk.
All right. So tell me, what's your most important moment that you've had since you've started doing the wrestling? Like, what's your biggest, most defining moment for yourself? Would you say? Jesus Christ! Sorry.
Being on this show for sure.
Obviously, dude. I mean, this is huge. We got Mark Haggerty here in studio, or on the phone at least in studio, and it's great. You've been awesome, man.
I've had a lot of what I like to refer to as tentpole moments in my career, which are just like big things that hold up everything. And I always say like you need to have those not only behind you to support like yourself in terms of your resume, but you need to have them going forward to look forward to, because if you don't have those, it's like Christmas, you know what I mean? Or whatever, or WrestleMania, or whatever big thing you look forward to every year. We all need that. And that's what people need in their careers too. I'm actually, as you know, I'm doing a seminar about this kind of stuff at Test of Strength Wrestling.
I mean, you might as well give that a plug while you're talking about it.
August 29th, is that what it is? August 29th
yes.
at 7 o'clock. It's Mark's Power Hour.
The Mark's Power Hour.
Might even have a power hour while we're doing it. Who knows? But
that's the best.
But like, there have been some really big things for me that I can hang my hat on so far. Obviously, I've announced a lot of really big names, and that's almost superficial at this point. To me, I was on Evolve 95, which was a really big deal for me. I am the full-time master of ceremonies for Chikara. I am the voice of Turnbuckle TV, which is a streaming service in the United Kingdom. You know, it's just a lot of big stuff like that. And, you know, yeah, like I said, like, I've got a couple of big things like that. Like, and the other one, I was like racking my brain because, you know, we're all in the same place probably right now. WrestleMania weekend.
This is true.
Is probably the biggest one for me. Because I work 11 events inside of 6 days, I think.
Wow.
And, you know, that was really big for me. And the big one I'm looking forward to right now is King of Trios weekend, which is the first weekend of October. It's the biggest tournament in wrestling, really. I mean, it's 16 teams of 3. One of those teams, I don't know if you're hip to this. I don't know if you saw this, but it's Sick Mama Pump Jordan Grace. It's Little Petey Pump Petey Williams, and then Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. So, like,
what a lineup, dude! I gotta tell you, I'm a big fan of all 3.
That's a hell of a team right there, man.
That's why you get at the King of Trios tournament, right? You get any of that stuff. This is the Scott, by the way, chiming in.
Yeah. What was the question?
No, I was just saying the King of Trios. That's what the type of the teams you get there, right? You don't know who you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to be cool. We've got the Carnies coming in, which is Nick Iggy, Trish Cassidy, and Terry Awful from down south. We've got the Embassy team, the old Ring of Honor team, which is I know that Jimmy Rave and Prince Nana are on there. The Colony, which were the winners from last year. It's going to be a fucking awesome show. It's 3 days too, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be amazing. I mean, what else you got coming up that you want to plug? I mean, I want to make sure that you let everybody know where you're going to be at, because I know you're just incredibly booked.
Well, I mean, you said before I'm booked every weekend. I actually haven't had a weekend off since 2017.
Shut up, bro. For real?
Yeah, knock wood. Hopefully I keep that trend up. This weekend, as you said, we've got Test of Strength on Saturday, and then I've got Wrestlers Lab in Richfield Park, New Jersey on Sunday. Then next week is a really big week for me. We got Chikara in Allentown, Pennsylvania on Thursday. I got World of Hurt Wrestling featuring Enzo Amore on Friday.
Oh, wow.
That's in Whitehall, New York. Saturday is Paradise Alley. Let me just say right now on the record, okay? I was scheduled to be at Battlefront. I wish that I could be at Battlefront. And as I told my friend Dan, the only issue with me being at Battlefront is like a 4-hour drive for me. Paradise Alley is like a 90-minute drive for me. And usually I would not give a shit about that kind of thing. But the next day I'm going to be in Nashville, Tennessee with Capital Wrestling. So that extra 2.5 hours means the world to me. So, Danny, you know I love you. We're going to have a drink this weekend to talk about it.
I can't wait for Battlefront. I know I'll be seeing you there too.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Test of Strength though this weekend.
That's going to be the big show, man. You know, we got a big show this weekend at Tazrax. Don't forget, if you need tickets, you can get them online on the Test of Strength page, of course, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And Mark, would you like to plug any of your social media before I let you go?
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. And yeah, it looks good. I got the chicken parm sandwich looking at me right now, too. I'm about to eat that. So check this out, guys. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mark A. Haggerty. I put out a lot of very interesting content. I think you be the judge. Follow me and find out. Also, please follow my YouTube channel and subscribe to that. That's become increasingly important to me. It's Mark Adam Haggerty over there, and I do a vlog every Monday, which is about my weekend adventures. Haven't put one up in about 2 weeks, but I'm going to fix that this weekend. I also just debuted a new show, which is getting a lot of momentum, which I'm really excited about. It's called Locker Room Detectives. It is myself and Impact Wrestling referee Chris Levin, and we basically solve crimes or mysteries in the locker room. And the first episode is up, and it's pretty corny, you know what I mean? Like, we're just finding our footing, but it's about us looking for Bigfoot at a campground in upstate New York. And then the next one will be out next weekend, and that'll be about us at a baseball field. We're gonna be at a minor league baseball field, and who knows what kind of shenanigans we're gonna get into. So check me out on all that, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks, man. It's been fun. We'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. I'll see you Saturday, brother.
Mark Adam Haggerty.
This is the privileged TJ Howell III. And you're listening to the 2B Blunt Podcast with Peezy.
Wow, Mark Adam Haggerty on the phone, and we are back on the 2B Blunt Podcast. And Frank Knox looks like he's a little too high right now to get through life.
I think that's an understatement.
No, I'm good.
He looks like he's heading towards me Sunday night.
Not even close, Scott. I'm ready to do this Frank Knox top 5.
Oh, you're ready to do the top 5, Frank?
I'm ready to turn the leaf.
Let's get right into it. It's the Frank Knox top 5.
Frank Knox top 5. Frank Knox top 5. Frank Knox top 5. Frank Knox top 5.
That's right. It's the Frank Knox top 5. Frank, tell him what you got this week.
And I don't know what Scott's talking about. I'm fine. I'm not turning anything what he looked like on Sunday night. But here we go with my top 5 for this week. I got 3 new entries into the top 5. And starting at number 5, I got Bray Wyatt.
Oh.
At number 4, I got the biggest star in the land they call Japan, and that's Okada, baby.
Wow.
At number 3, I got the whole OC, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson.
That's right.
Number 2 and number 1, nothing's going to change. Number 2, Kofi Kingston. And number 1, till you beat him or you defeat him, Brock Lesnar. And you could love it, you could hate it, but Frank don't really care what you think, baby.
Wow, Frank Knox. Scott, what do you think about the top 5?
I mean, that's a pretty potent top 5 right there.
Just like that Charlottesville we smoked all throughout this podcast.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I am lit right now. I'm lit. I'm so high. We smoked 2 blunts. We talked to Mark Haggerty for a half hour. It's amazing. What a story that guy's got, you know? And I'm literally just high and hungry as fuck right now.
You guys certainly.
And I can't even, the top 5 was amazing this week. I don't even got any gripes about it, but all I can think about right now is eating something right now.
Dude, you know what I could really go for?
What's that, bro?
Is some good, long, slow cooked barbecue. I'm talking like low and slow for 14 hours.
Oh, and the cooker, bro. Oh, man, dude. What's that? Little Tino son right now? Shit.
Funny story about Tino right now. Do you guys know that one of the cooks there is a wrestling legend's son?
Shut the fuck up.
I don't think I've ever told you this.
Who is it?
What do you got?
Luna Vachon's son works at Taino.
No.
In Middletown, Connecticut. Shout out to Taino.
It's a Taino. What the hell's
Taino? Listen, I only know the wrestling knowledge.
Taino. Tim McCann. Taino. Oh, my God.
Taino. What is this? Hayouken.
Listen, the story of the part is it's Luna Vachon's son that cooks the meat there.
Yeah, well, he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. I just want some good low and slow.
Bro, you know what would be real good? Some low and slow meat that has been like smoked in some weed.
Like you talking like OG.
Like that sour D.
So like I'm saying, yo man, let me get some like pork mixed with some like haze. And
like you know how they use wood chips? Instead of fucking wood chips, you just use
they got
weed.
like apple, hickory.
Yeah,
cherry.
no hickory. You get like diesel kush, all that shit.
Dude. I mean, that would be fucking amazing.
Are you with me?
I'm with you.
I'm with you. Then I can tell you what. This is the idea we had, and that's Smokin' Bones.
Where we come from, we do things a little different. We don't roast our meats. Hell, we don't even grill our meats. The only way we like our meats is smoked. So come on down to Smokin' Bones, where we serve the best meat you've ever tasted. That's been smoked like a fat doobie in our in-house smoker, using only the finest of herbs to create the smoky flavor you crave. Whether it's our rootin' tootin' loud brisket, our OG pulled pork, or our sour diesel 5-alarm pork shoulder, even our THC oil fried handcuff fries. You're guaranteed to leave here sloked. So come on down to Smokin' Bones, where you can come in hungry and leave high as fuck.
You're tuned in to another episode of To Be Blunt with Peezy.
To Be Blunt Podcast, we are back, and what a show we've had. I gotta say, before I close things out, though, you know, since nobody has decided to try to stump the Scott, except for Moonshine today, really.
Well, I think I tried to get him once. He got me.
He could have stumped me on Sunday.
They could have. 860-347-110. I'm sure no one's going to even try because this man's a legend. This man's a legend. But since nobody tried to stump the Scott, Scott has told me that he has a bold prediction.
Bold prediction, all right. My last one didn't work out for me with Sable coming back, but I have a new one. And we AEW announced this week, right? They announced that a couple of the matches for the first show on TNT, October 2nd, and one of them will be Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks taking on Chris Jericho and 2 mystery partners.
Oh.
So who could those mystery partners be?
You know, I was kind of wondering that. I heard about that. I'm like, who the fuck could it be?
Enzo and Big Cass?
So I am going to say...
Is that your prediction?
That's my prediction.
I think that could be a backup plan. I think another backup plan could be LAX. I think they got plenty of options. But I think the one that they're going to go for right now, based on who lost the Raw Tag Team titles this week, I think the Revivals... I think they're coming back.
Listen, first of all, bold prediction, but it's the Revival. There's no plural. It's not the Revival.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay.
You know, you want to be
still... Yo, come on, Scott.
Guys, I'm still slurring my words from Sunday, so...
God, we might really have to put him in the rehab, Frank.
FTR is not fuck the revival. It's fuck the renewal. And they're going to AEW. Fuck the renewal of the contract. They are going to AEW October 2nd.
Scott bold with prediction. A bold fucking prediction.
Well, I mean, Scott Wilder did defend Bret Hart, who introduced the championship at AEW.
First of all, I know I might be slurring my words, but it's Scott Dawson, not
Dawson.
Scott Wilder. Okay,
yeah.
It's not.
Right.
It's not Dash Dawson.
It's
Scott Wilder,
oh boy,
okay?
you don't want to mess with the Scott. God damn it, you know.
Scott wins today.
Scott with the bold prediction. And if you got anything to say about that, tough shit, hit us up on Facebook and Twitter and tell us. We want to thank Mark Haggerty for that in-depth interview. Hopefully we get him again in studio. Make sure you check him out at Mark Haggerty on the IG. We got big interview next week. We have Joseph Von Schmidt, who already made the announcement on Facebook today. We will have him for a phone interview next week. It's going to be huge.
Then following week, we have a big interview coming up too, Peezy. Don't forget.
Oh, I don't know. Is it going to be next week?
It's going to be next week.
We're going to do it right for the Bachelor podcast?
Yeah, why not? Why not run part 1 of the interview?
Oh, well, all right. If you want to make the announcement, Frank, let him know.
Ref Bill, also known as Fonzie from ECW, the manager of Taz, Sabu, and RVD, will be live on the 2B Blunt podcast.
That's right. Bill Alfonso, former WWE referee, ECW manager for RVD and Sabu.
You should have let him know. See, you're better off.
Well, you were really hyping it. I wanted to let you go, bro. You were killing it.
Former High Times magazine cover?
That's right. Well, yeah. Exactly. And a former High Times magazine covered is Bill Alfonso. We're going to have 2-part series with Bill Alfonso coming up, starting at the Bachelor podcast. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. It's going to be explosive. It's going to be unfiltered. It's going to be Bill Alfonso, me, Frank Knox, and a shit ton of weed.
And it's going to be extreme.
That's right. So check us out on all social media at 2B Blunt Podcast for all our pages. Also www.2bbluntpodcast.com. Number 2, as Frank would say. Don't fuck it up. It's the number 2 for both. And I want to thank the Scott for being here in studio. I'm sorry that no one could stump you, Scott, but I guess you're still reigning champion.
That's right, baby. Pleasure
Frank,
to be here.
You killed it today. Another explosive day. 2B Blunt Podcast. Frank's got the custom shirt on. You already know. It's Peezy. We're going down. We'll see you next week for episode 7 with Joseph Von Schmidt. It's the 2B Blunt Podcast.
In come the thing called, I'm the original weed man. The big man. Played by the ragamuffin, cashed out bad. No grinder, we just crush it in a hand. And that's for why you have to understand. Do it,
Inhale the air, I feel your sweet sense of me. You make sense to me. You heard right, homegrown to heal the people. And it should be legal, but some still put up a fight. Not everyone can walk in the store, buy an ounce, nothing more. No dispensary to stock it. Here you got to hustle like before, just to score a little indoor. I know who's got it. Yeah, anytime I'm running dry, I never have to worry. I know just the guy. You always reply, so I can re-up on my supply. Give it up for my weed man. I call him when I need him. Always got the fire on deck. Yeah, he's my weed man. Chronic rolling ready when I see him, and he ain't ever let me down yet. Homie's got what it takes to relieve ya. And no matter where I'll be, all I do is call. He gon' bring it right to me. He's my weed man.
Always have it on deck, with no respect, endless shine. See me the original Dr. Green Thumb. Roll up the raw paper or blaze the chillum. See me original weed man with the healing. Take a one puff, you get the feeling. See me knocking at your front door ready. All type of strains, cause you know me think plenty. 300 acre in a humble county. Have me license, so me no afraid of federally. Them legalize the herb so you can burn it up front. We now say you no Reggie, we no give you no song. Put the cushion on your grinder, roll yourself a good blunt. Red eyes of your eye for a month. Strictly cash on delivery. We put the package on a drone, get it rapidly. Sell you a clone, make you grow in your community. The weed man a enterprise, cause the hustle never die. You see?
It's the highest motherfucking podcast around. To be blunt.
With Peezy. Geico presents, yikes, another voicemail from your roommate.
Sup, roomie? Hey, a pipe burst in the basement. It's completely flooded. Anyway, I called for someone to fix it, but in the meantime, I was thinking we could finally have that indoor pool party we've always wanted. I got some cool swan floaty things already going. Could you pick up some chips on your way home? Later.
The Geico Insurance Agency could help keep your personal property protected, like if your roommate isn't the brightest pool float in the flooded basement. Visit geico.com to see how easy it is to switch and save on renter's insurance.
The internet can be your window to the world, or an open door that lets cyber criminals in. Online theft, webcam spying, and identity fraud are all on the rise. But you can stay safe with Kaspersky Lab, the world's most awarded internet security. Kaspersky protects your money, privacy, identity, and data with technology perfected over 20 years. So keep exploring. Kaspersky Lab will keep you safe online. Learn more at Kaspersky.com.